Hi, this is Shoshanah Shear of BeAHappyMom.com. In this video, I'd like to pick up on the theme that I had in a previous video, which was all about how to find work. That video was finding work as an occupational therapist in England. I've had a request to do a few more videos about finding jobs as an occupational therapist. So this particular video, I'd like to share a couple of interesting ideas or some of my own personal experience in finding work as an occupational therapist. The majority of jobs that I've had, I've been very fortunate that I was invited to work in a number of settings. That's been in hospitals and schools. So some of my own path has not been the way that one would need to go about finding work, because, as I say, when you're invited to go and work in a situation, most of the time I haven't had to interview. Some of the time I've had to request an interview so that I could figure out whether my skills were suitable to the job situation and whether the environment would meet my needs, so that also that I would know some information as to what the job description would be like and so on. I have worked in America. I've worked in South Africa. Actually, South Africa came first, in America, and then in Israel, apart from England, which we've already mentioned. So in my future videos, I hope to touch on a little bit more nitty-gritties of what's involved, the paperwork that's required, the process that's required in finding work in these different countries. I would be able to share more of, aside from South Africa, where I initially trained, some of the process would be in what's required if you're coming to, for example, going to America and you haven't initially trained there, what paperwork is necessary in order to be able to work as an occupational therapist in America if you're a foreign trained therapist. The same would apply to working in Israel. The system, if you're working in Israel and you've trained here, is going to be a little bit different. So there's some of that I'd be able to touch on, but not as much, because I'm not as connected with the universities as I used to be in the other countries that I've worked in. Some of my own reasons, if you've taken a look at some of my other videos, although I have worked in a number of facilities here in Israel, my focus now is working towards developing a center here, and so I'm pooling my skills. If you have a look at the banner on the top, you'll see a book that I wrote, which is Healing Your Life Through Activity, and that's a book explaining about occupational therapy for those who are not familiar with the profession. I'm looking to get to do more workshops and talks about occupational therapy. Some of that would be through the videos, also talks and workshops in person and in my online classroom that I'm developing. And I have a series of other books that I'm in the process of working on writing, some books, some workbooks, and some other products. So that's my focus more now. And having been a therapist for 27 years, it's quite natural to find that a therapist would move into other areas of treating and not necessarily to remain within structured facilities. So if you're interested, I can also mention some of the non-clinical work that I'm involved in. The freelance writing service that I have is one area that's, although it's freelance writing, my niche is very much in keeping with my profession of occupational therapy. So if any occupational therapists are interested in how to get into working as an occupational therapist in the area of writing, that's something I can also explain in another video. My developing products, again, a lot of the products, not all of them, but a lot of the products that I'm developing are also draw from my occupational therapy background and are being developed in order to assist with specific areas of function. So I have a number of educational toys that I've been developing together with my mother. I have some other products that I'm in the process of developing, and those all form into non-clinical area of occupational therapy, which is also a very important part of the profession, because if you think about it, occupational therapists need to be keeping up to date with literature, which means that books need to be written, articles need to be written, equipment needs to be made in order to make it available for therapists to have that equipment to purchase and to use, whether in their private practice, in their OT department, wherever it is that they're working. It stands to reason that somebody has to make those products. So actually, I do have a goal in mind with these products. It's not just that I'm making products. If you stay with me and you sign up for this channel, you'll be able to find out what my direction is, and hopefully if you stay with me on this journey for long enough, we might be able to pull a few of these things together and see how it comes into being in the center that I'm developing. So I've brought in a number of ideas, both in how I initially found work. I have actually been through the process of sourcing jobs and applying for jobs as well. I've been through the interview process, and I'll be dealing with that in another video. The next video, I'll be dealing with a little bit of what's required to work in South Africa. After that, we'll look at what's required to work in America. After that, we can look at another video of what's required to work as an occupational therapist in Israel. And then if you're interested in the non-clinical avenues of occupational therapy, do put a comment in the comments below, and I'll be happy to bring out a video for that too. So I hope that's given you food for thought. It's probably could be that it's opened the door for a lot more questions, and that'll be good, because then it's the opportunity for some interaction, some discussion, and some more videos. Blog posts too, if you're interested, and perhaps even an ebook. So stay in touch, subscribe to this channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Ciao for now.